thanks to the support as a channel member, Rexmus1. All season, we've been working on the basis that top 4 is what we need to get us into the Champions League for next season. And here we are, 2 games before the end of the season. It looks like we have to finish in the top 3, and we're in 4th. I think, anyway, it's not entirely clear from the way the league table or the tournament rules help us here. I mean, we're not doing too badly. If we have a look at our little run of fixtures, we are on an unbeaten run since the last episode, although we did draw our last game against Port, but Port obviously are quite a good team, so that's not a terrible result. But the little green line that did used to include 4th place now doesn't. So it looks like it's only the top 3 that get through. Interestingly as well, the macro are on the verge of being relegated today as well. So I think we might be about to see the sad end to the macro clinging on to their spot in the top league. But if we look at the competition rules, it's not really clear. So 1st place goes through to the group stage, 2nd place the playoff, 3rd place the 2nd preliminary round, and then 4th place 2nd preliminary round, but with a little info thing that says depending on the winner of the Thai Cup. But it doesn't anywhere explain how the winner of the Thai Cup influences things. If we have a look at the Thai Cup, that has been won by Muang Thong United, the team that knocked us out of it. So if we then go back to the league table, they're in 3rd at the moment. So surely them being in 3rd means they qualify via the Thai Cup. So 4th place should be open, but it's only dropped down to the top 3 since they won it. So it's making me question, is there some shenanigans going on here? But importantly, we're only 1 point behind them and we do have a game in hand. So as long as we win both of our final games, we will get into the top 3, which is definite Champions League. So I guess we just need to focus on doing that. We're playing Chiangrai United and Chonburi. They're both down in the bottom half of the table. I guess we just have to make sure we do our bit and win our matches. So this is the team for the first match against Chiangrai United. It's OK in goal, a back four of Basena, Chayawong, Homthong and Mwamba. Solomon at the base of the midfield, Gonzalez and Tambar ahead of him, Glavaki on the left, Aquila on the right, and Gassam up front, who isn't quite the spectacular 30-goal a season striker I hoped he would be, at least not yet. I mean, we've been down this road many times before and often found that these foreign import super strikers do need to learn a little bit of Thai before they end up delivering the kind of goal return that we were hoping for. So fingers crossed his time will come. I mean, he is still young, and he's got an opportunity there to open the scoring after 15 seconds. I warned you his time would come. There you go. His time has come. 1-0 to the Gamecocks, and it's our 2 most exciting young players who combined for the goal. Glavaki, if he doesn't win player of the season, there's something very wrong. But that is a very good header from Ngassam, and that puts us 1-0 up, which should in turn leapfrog us up. There you go. Leapfrogs us up into 3rd place in the league table. We mathematically can't win the league. We could finish as high as 2nd, but we can no longer win the league, which we were never really seriously in a title race anyway. But this does put us in the driving seat going into the final day of the season if things go our way. Glavaki is trying to create something else, plays it back to Basena. Gonzalez is free on the edge of the area. He hits the post. It falls to Aquila. Tamba's in the middle, and Gassam was in the middle, and neither of them are able to make a proper contact with it, and it ends up safely into the hands of the goalkeeper. Mwamba has picked up an injury. He's pulled his hamstring, so we are going to have to make a change. Homthong is going to go out to right back, and we'll bring on, who's the best option for us to play centre back? So he's 2.5 stars. He's 2.5 stars. Who's tallest? He's 5'9". He's 5 foot. Oh my word. They're both miniature. Right, we'll bring him on and it'll be fine. I'm still learning my new back four combinations. Ever since we decided to get rid of our starting partnership in the last episode on a complete whim. I mean, I think we probably have benefited from it. Wamba's been great. Gonzalez and Ngassam are certainly improvements on what we had there before. So In long term, it's for the best, but I do miss having that safe, solid centre-back partnership. It was kind of the first time in the entire series we'd had a safe and solid centre-back partnership, and I decided to bin it off in a 3-day spell between 2 matches halfway into an episode because I panicked that we needed a good striker. I mean, it's working for us so far. We've not conceded, and that good striker has scored. So I guess it proves that I am a genius. I am a special Football Manager talent, and we are trying to stretch this to a 2-goal lead, which would make me feel a lot more comfortable. Glavaki picking up the loose ball, plays it into Tamba. Tamba, I mean, arguably should be squaring that to Ngasamolo. It looks like it was actually a save because we've won a corner from it, and we know Tamba can deliver a very useful corner, although he's got fewer big boys to aim at now. One of them, though, is Aquila, who was lurking at the far post, but unfortunately the Chiangrai defender gets there before him. The other match, of course, in fact, I thought the Mackerel were playing at the same time. It doesn't look like they are, so they might get relegated between the 2 matches. Gonzalez slots it in beautifully to Glavaki. This is lovely football. And once again, their goalkeeper has made an excellent save. I mean, he is keeping them in the match at the moment, despite conceding after 15 seconds. He's been brilliant since then. You could very much argue he's been excellent since the first minute of the game. But we are desperately trying to grab that second goal, because while it's only 1-0, there's always the worry that they're going to come up the other end and ruin my morning, which will be very upsetting. Let's have a look to see how we're doing fitness-wise. Aquila is not having the best of matches. So one of the other new signings that came in the last episode that I don't even think I mentioned, Butsing is on. We signed him, but I signed him last week, then didn't play the game for a few days, forgot about him, and that's why I then signed all the others as well. And Butsing might have been enough, but as it is, he never really got the opportunity. He came in and was immediately replaced because I'm an idiot and don't make notes between recording sessions. And last week, because obviously I was at Wembley watching Posh win again, because that's what we do, I got my videos recorded relatively early, and I had about 4 days where I didn't make any, and I forgot I signed him. I completely forgot I signed him, and now he's got to force his way into the team. He'll be fine. Right. There is Tamba. Tamba gives the ball away, but wins it back again. And Gassem shoots from range and forces another good save out of the Chiangrai goalkeeper, who has had a fantastic... I mean, he's on an 8.2. He's having an absolutely phenomenal game. We've got 2.28 XG. We've had 12 shots on target, 8 corners, and he is playing exceptionally well. Right, Basena's going to come off. We're also going to take off Glavaki. In fact, we're not going to take off Glavaki because Narula has got a grumpy on now. So we no longer have a sensible backup on that side. I think we're done with him because he was upset that he wasn't getting enough game time. If ever there was a I can't drop the guy who's in the team situation that he should have accepted, it is this one. And here comes the equaliser that potentially costs us our Champions League spot. After Chiangrai not having a single highlight in the entire match, we enter the 88th minute. And after us bombarding them, they are going to grab an equaliser here, and it's going to make me very sad. I've played plenty of Football Manager. I know the scripts. On an intellectual level, no, there are no scripts. My heart tells me there must be, because stuff like that happens too often, and that does drop us back down to 4th place going into the final day, and completely gives the advantage back to Mwanthong, especially if we concede again here. I mean, that is hideous. That is genuinely hideous from Football Manager there. I mean, look at the match stats. Seriously, what more could I have done there? Well, we've got to do the last day without our shiny new right back. We go into the last day where we face Chonburi away from home, and Mwanthong are away to Suphanburi, who might be relegated by then. But we're going to finish 4th. I don't know if it's going to be enough. So going into the final day, and it is a final day where the Raging Mackerel are already relegated, which is very sad. We know what we've got to do. We've got to win and hope the other result goes our way. We're going to have to do it without Wamba, who has picked up an injury, so we're shuffling the defence around a little bit. Homthong moves out to right back. Thodsenit, who was suspended for the last match, comes back in, and he'll partner Swan Chai Fun in the defence. Otherwise, it is the same team that played in the last game. And we're off to the Chonburi Stadium, which appears to be right on the coast. Down here in this bit. So we're up here. There you go. That's where the mackerel are. I think I said in yesterday's episode that we were the other side of Bangkok, forgetting that I don't manage the mackerel anymore. I think we're actually up here somewhere. But anyway, there's Chonburi. This is where the Chonburi Stadium is. So let's have a little look at it from the aerial view. So I guess that is the stadium just there. So if we grab our little man, we should be able to stick him right in the middle of the pitch. We've been here before, I feel like. And I don't think this looks like a football stadium. Let's try it again from here. There you go. This looks a bit more like a football stadium. Quite run down though. I think this is more our level. This is not a very fancy stadium, is it? We should be able to come here and pick up a win. They've got a bin there ready for the halftime bin challenge, which is good. And they are, of course, managed by Jason Brown off of all of these clubs in his distant past, including he's got that Cambridge stench on him. He was previously, after leaving Arsenal, where he was the under-23s goalkeeping coach, he spent 4 years as the goalkeeping coach of Vietnam, whilst also working for Air Force Central, where he then went from goalkeeping coach to technical director to manager, and then back to technical director. Then managed Chiangrai for 5 years, and he's now here at Chonburi after a 3-year break. So, Jason Brown, how you doing? We're going to beat you now because we would like to get into the Champions League. Please and thank you. Let's give everybody a nice little pat on the head and cross everything. We need things to go our way. And Gassam didn't take much of a run up there, did he? Goodness me, it was a good free kick, though. From a long, long way out. He scored inside a minute in the last match. He almost repeated it for a second match in a row. I mean, it didn't do us any good in the previous match. But we're now aiming at him from the corner as well because we don't have any big centre-backs anymore. But we do have a big striker. And also Akil is pretty big as well. So we've got a couple of big attackers, which might be why we're less effective at the set pieces now than we used to be. You need big defenders for the set piece thing to work. But Wanthong, we are desperate to see them lose. I want the reassurance of finishing third and knowing it's going to be okay. I'm like 80% sure we're in the Champions League by finishing fourth as well. But just the fact that we haven't had the inbox message come through confirming it does worry me a smidgen. So until I see actual confirmation, I refuse to believe we're actually there. And we have won a penalty here. Basena's running away. He doesn't want any part of this penalty review. But I think we have, there you go. We do have a penalty. And I think it will be Tamba to take. I think he's our usual penalty taker. It is Tamba. And he steps up and he scores. And it's 1-0. And that should, 10 goals from Tamba, considering all the assists he's got as well. Signing of the season, surely. A more important player for us than Asomba was, and we sold him for £2 million. But it looks like Wanthong are already winning in their game, which is not ideal, because that isn't going to put us up into third place. I mean, we could only do our bit. We could win 10-0 today, and if Wanthong win, we're obviously going to finish fourth and have to hope it's okay. Surely it is. Surely, with them winning the cup, we get, there you go, there's them going 2-0 up. Surely we get the spot, unless it's a ridiculous system where the runner-up of the Thai Cup gets the spot if the winner qualifies for the Champions League through the league. But even if that's the case, I think Buriram were the defeated finalists. So regardless, it's surely that fourth spot trickles down to fourth place somehow. Fourth place is us. We can't finish below fourth. So I think we are in. I just don't know why the game's not telling me mathematically that we are. That's the worry. we've got 45 minutes until we find out for sure. And it's going to be Tamba with the corner again. And that was a very good header. Was that Ngassam? That was a very good header. I mean, I say very good. He headed it really hard. He obviously did miss. So I don't know that it was very good. It was good in so much as he hit it really hard with his noggin. But for it to be very good, he probably does need to at least test the goalkeeper. Right, Thodsenit looking for the longish throw. Finds Ngassam. It's back with Thodsenit again. And he puts a lovely cross into Tamba. And there's an 11th goal of the season for Umar Tamba. I mean, he's a superstar. We have got some very, very good players here at the Gamecocks. Between him and Glavaki, and obviously Ngassam, we're very excited about. The two young fullbacks. Thodsenit has got a bright future as well. We've got some very, very good players. I just hope we can sneak ourselves into that Champions League spot. I mean, it looks like we're going to finish only 4 points off the top of the league as well. So we have two results go our way that didn't, and we could have genuinely been in a title race. We could be in a title race next year. My plan is, because we're £3 million in debt despite selling us on for 2 million, my plan is, unless we get a huge sack of cash for being in the Champions League, which I don't think you do in Asia, my plan is to look for a job this summer. But if we do end up being here again next year, we could win the league. And surely winning the league in Thailand, what a save. Surely winning the league in Thailand will make it that little bit easier to get a decent job in Japan or Korea or Saudi Arabia or South Africa or Egypt or any of these nations that we're ready to jump to win a Champions League in one of those two continents in the next 3 years. That's got to be the plan. 3 years, grab a Champions League. I've had a few people having a little bit of a chuckle in the comments that it's taking so long. I would point out we're only like 5 or 6 seasons in. I'm still completely confident that I'll have completed the Pentagon challenge within 20 seasons. I can't imagine it taking that one, because don't forget as well, once we win the first one, it starts a domino effect. Once we've got a Champions League victory in Asia or Africa, then we can walk into any top club on the other of those two continents. And once we've got 2 Champions Leagues to our name, it should be relatively easy to get a job at any MLS team. And from there, you can win the North American Champions League. And then when you've got 3 Champions League under your belt, you can get a decent Argentinian or Brazilian team. And then when you've got 4, you can walk into any top club in Europe and say, look, I've won 4 different Champions Leagues now. So you see, I don't imagine any of the other 4 after this Champions League to take anywhere near as long as this one is going to take. So I still think it'll be wrapped up inside 20 seasons, but the struggle's fun, isn't it? I'm sure you're all having a lovely time watching me struggle. I know some of you are monsters and like to see me struggle, and we have struggled a little bit from starting as low as we have, but I feel like we are moving in the right direction now. We are, fingers crossed, getting into the Asian Champions League for the first time. I think we'll be in a title race next year. And we might even be at an even bigger club. Who knows? Boonchen does a nice little turn there, lays it off to Glavaki, who plays a terrible ball back to our centre-back. And, I mean, we've let them back in the game here. It was 3-0 and we were cruising. And we've just self-imploded. Self-imploded? Is that a thing you do? Self-combusted and imploded. But I think we're going to get away with it anyway. I mean, there's no sign of Wan Thong dropping points in their game. So we are finishing 4th and we're just easing ourselves over that finish line now into that 4th place finish. And hopefully straight after the match, we get the inbox message telling us that that's enough. And that they're going to give us £8 million in TV revenue for being in the Champions League. That would be very handy. I think we get £500,000 in TV revenue at the end of the season from this league. Plus we've got about 800,000 of sponsorship money. Plus I think there's some prize money to be had. I still think we're going to be overdrawn by the time they give us, by the time the transfer window opens, which might not bode well for future coaching badges and transfer budgets. But I guess we find out about a lot of that now. There you go. There's your confirmation. We are in the Champions League. So I don't know why there was all the fuss, all the confusion. That green line has now moved back there. We are in the Champions League, I think, for the first time in our history. And hopefully they've given me big fat budgets to allow us to go and try and win the thing. I mean, they've not lowered my wage budget, which is what I feared they would do. These are the budgets we already had. They've not given me any new money. I don't know how this happens. And I don't know how this happens, but this should be enough for us to work with. Patham won the league. And there we go. There's your final league table. So we now embark on a summer of transfers. But first, let's just see if there's any interesting jobs for us. I mean, most of these I'm not at all interested in. I don't really want to go into the second tier in Korea, because that's reputation-wise below the second tier here in Thailand. That is not a step up. The mackerel have got a job available. But yeah, there's nothing really that interesting currently, which won't stop me looking throughout the close season. But I think as it stands at the moment, we are likely to be sticking around with the Gamecocks for another year. Remember, the way the Champions League works as well, it's only October. Our season starts again in February. We don't actually enter into the Asian Champions League until next August. So it's nearly a year before we get the reward for qualifying for it. So we don't have to worry about building a Champions League squad this window, but we do need to be focusing on some Thai players over the next 2 windows to stand any kind of chance. We need to start hoovering up the best Thai talent we can find. But that's a problem for tomorrow and future, Kev. For now, we pay our respects to the mackerel. We couldn't have got here without you, and we're sad to see you go. But for now, if you've enjoyed the episode, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.